In order to create and run a granular backup plan in DocAve, after logging in, over on the left-hand side, click Data Protection. On the Data Protection screen, click Granular Backup and Restore. In Granular Backup, over on the left, you will see the scope tree, which will show you all the different SharePoint server environments where you've installed the DocAve agent. And if you are in a hybrid setup, then under My Registered Sites, you will also see Office 365 objects that can be backed up. In order to select what you want to back up, you have to expand that individual farm. Once the farm's expanded, you can see that you can start seeing web applications, and if I continue to click on those, we're going to drill down into site collections, sites, even down to lists and libraries. Locate the particular scope that you want to back up, check it off, and then up at the top, if we click on the Plan Builder dropdown, we can go through either Wizard mode or the Form mode. Let's take a look at the Wizard mode. The steps in the Wizard are shown across the top. First, we have to give this particular plan a name. Down at the bottom, we click Next. Next, we have to determine where the backup data is going to go. Keep in mind that these storage policies are configured back in the DocAve control panel, which can be reached up here at the very top left by clicking on this button. Do you want the data to be compressed? If so, fastest versus best compression? And do you want the data to be encrypted? Encryption can be performed by the media service, which is streaming the backup data to its storage location, or by the SharePoint agent, which is in charge of this particular job. If you do decide that you want to encrypt, you must select a security profile. You can configure your own security profiles and encryption keys by clicking New Security Profile or by going into the DocAve control panel. Down at the bottom, I click Next. We now then need to decide the Restore granularity level. This setting determines the lowest level of restore possible. So item is the default. Do you want to only be able to restore sites or only be able to restore site collections? I'm going to leave it on item and we'll click Next. Should your backup run on a schedule? If you say no schedule, you will have to kick off these jobs yourself. You can also select the schedule you've previously built or configure the schedule now. Backup types include full, incremental, and differential. If you select incremental or differential, the first backup that runs will have to be a full, and that will kick off on its own. If I select full and put it on a single schedule, then every time it runs, it will do a full backup of that selected scope. Let's say I want to do incrementals, and I would like to do them for this particular scope once a day. We then have to dictate when that's going to start and when it's going to stop. If I leave it set to no end date, then it's going to kick off at this particular date and time. So how about we go with midnight? Starting tomorrow, and I click OK. Now if I leave it set to no end date, that means it will run every night at midnight until I come in here and disable the plan. You can also set a number of occurrences or an end by date, which is great for testing. I'm going to click OK. Now you'll notice I can add another schedule if I choose to. This is if you wanted to do separate full and incrementals. Maybe a full once a week, incrementals every day. You'd put them each on their own separate schedule. Down at the bottom we click Next. The advanced step asks you some additional questions like, do you want to back up user profiles? Would you like to back up workflows within sites? Do you want to send notifications at the completion of the job? And do you want to build this into any type of plan group, which is used to have multiple jobs kick off at the same time? Since I'm backing up a site collection, which is going to contain multiple subsites, let's say yes, I do want to back up all my workflows, and I'll click Next. Finally, you get an overview of all your different choices, which allows you to make sure that everything looks the way that you want. If everything looks good, down at the bottom, I could kick the job off now. I could do a test run, which will make sure that it can connect to that source and attempt to find all the objects it thinks it's supposed to back up, but won't actually do a backup. Or I could initiate the backup right now, and then after that it will run on its schedule. I'm going to click Finish and Run Now. Because I'm clicking Finish and Run Now, it's going to prompt me to make a choice as to what kind of backup it is. This is because it doesn't understand my schedule yet. And then I'll click OK. It tells us that the job has started, and we can go and view it in the job monitor to check on its progress. Thanks for watching this short video on how to set up a Granular backup plan using DocAve Granular Backup.